Hey guys, Brent here and welcome to another Sick Show. Today I'm going to share this image with you and tell you the story of how I got the confidence to get into this event and get the press credentials to actually photograph this event. And by the way, this is one of my very first published images, so stick around and watch. Hey guys, Brent here and welcome back to the Sick Show. Look where I am. I know, I live in a beautiful spot. I'm not trying to rub it in. That over there is Fingal Island and Fingal Spit, which is a sand bridge that goes across from Fingal Beach to Fingal Island, and it's exposed at low tide, and there's a few people walking across it right now. So you can walk across at low tide, but don't try it at high tide. You'll get washed away. I had a little adventure coming up to the sand dunes today. Have a look at this. I'm just walking through the bush or the forest over here to get to the sand dune where I'm going to record this lesson, and I almost stood on a snake. Yeah, it's pretty wild over here. So let's get into today's show. What's it all about? It's about gaining the confidence to be able to get the press credentials to get into an event and photograph an image like this of the snowboarder in the parallel giant slalom that I photographed almost 15 years ago and getting it published. How do you get the confidence to get into an event and have your image published? There's a really quick way to do it. There's a shortcut way. Chris talks about in his book, The Photographer's Rule Book, and it's following the masters. So I did that 15 years ago when I lived in Colorado. I went to this weekend workshop by a famous sports photographer. He actually worked for Sports Illustrated magazine, and he went to all these sporting events, got paid to photograph these amazing events with these famous sports heroes, and he gave a weekend talk, a weekend workshop in Colorado, in Denver, Colorado, when we used to live there. And I went to it, and what this event gave me was it gave me the confidence that I needed at the time. I wasn't a bad sports photographer. I'd been shooting for about a year already. I've been to a few little events, local things like, the Vans Triple Crown of BMX, where they do the jumps and things. I'd photographed tennis and some kayaking in the local Rockies rivers. But I was lacking confidence. And this event, being taught by a master photographer, gave me the confidence that I needed. How? Because, well, I guess it was getting the feedback from him that my images were not bad, that they were okay, and also having all this equipment that I could practice with. So Canon sponsored this event. Canon, who makes the cameras and the lenses, they sponsored this event. So they sent a whole bunch of lenses and cameras that were specific for sports photography, and we got to use them. And we got like a remote control for the camera, so I could set up a camera below these people that are doing the hurdles and photograph them remotely so that I didn't have to be there. And we also had strobes, like flashes when we're photographing basketball and things like that when it's indoors and the lighting's not the best. So this event gave me the confidence I needed, and from there I started applying to bigger events like the US snowboarding finals in Aspen, Colorado, where I got press credentials to get out there on the slopes as a registered photographer and photograph these events, because I don't allow anyone at these events because there's only a certain amount of space and there's liability and all sorts of stuff. Let me talk a little bit about this image that I took 15 years ago, one of my first published images. I was photographing, and this is Stacia. She won the event. I positioned myself below the gates, the giant slalom gates, snowboarding gates, and I put myself really low, below the actual snowboarder, looking up, and I didn't want just sky behind her. I wanted a little bit of mountain behind her and the second gate behind her just to give her a little bit of perspective. I rented a 300mm lens for this event. Now there's a big tip, guys. You don't have to buy the equipment to get these images. You can rent it for the weekend if you want, and that's what I did with this event. I rented the equipment that I needed because I didn't actually know if I wanted to buy that lens. I wanted to test it out first. I photographed in Aperture priority mode, f5.6, and I think that was the largest that the aperture went on that lens. I can't remember, it was 15 years ago. I don't even know if they make the lens anymore. And I shot it at 1/1250th of a second, the shutter speed. So it froze Stacia, in action. And yes, pun, freezing, cold, snow. Okay. Yeah, whatever. And I shot it at 200 ISO, which is the lowest ISO that my camera went at the time. So I turned the ISO all the way down because it's super bright because of the snow. And by the way, also you shoot it at one stop overexposed because you're in the snow, because otherwise the snow looks grey. So you shoot overexposed by one stop. Always when you're in snow, shoot one stop overexposed. I captured her coming around the corner, so she made the first gate, and the second gate she was leaning into it. I wanted to capture the expression on her face because she was pretty intense. Can you imagine her flying down there full speed, coming around the corner, grinding all that snow flying from under her snowboard, and she made it past me, and I got a couple of shots. And then the snow hit me because I was right below her. Now, here's a tip, guys, and this is really important. If you're doing sports photography, action photography, where you're dealing with people that are in like fast situations where they're flying down towards you, make sure that you are protected and that you're safe, and also that the competitor, the person you're photographing, is safe. Don't get yourself hurt. It's not worth the photograph. Don't put yourself in dangerous situations. Now, I think it might have been this event where I was photographing snowboarders, or maybe it was skiers at a similar event, and I was in a similar position down from one of the gates, and this snowboarder came around that last gate and he lost it. He lost the edge and he came skidding down, I think on his bum, flying down. I jumped out of the way and he came flying past me right where I was sitting, like a second before. Yeah, if I wasn't quick, if I wasn't on my knees and ready to move fast, I would have got taken out. I would have been seriously hurt. So there's a big tip. Just watch where you position yourself when you're photographing these action sports. Another time when I was photographing mountain biking, I was in the Colorado Rocky Mountains in the forest, and I was behind these two little trees, little saplings really, and this woman was coming down. I was trying to drag the shutter, so I was photographing her with a slower shutter speed, and I had a flash, and she went over this bump and lost it and came flying straight towards me and hit the two little trees right in front of me, which stopped her from hitting me. And then she fell over and asked, "Are you okay?" And she got up and just rode away. So guys, be careful when you're photographing events where people are competing, because when people are competing, they push themselves sometimes into dangerous situations. So make sure you don't get hurt. Takeaway from this lesson is to learn from the masters. Learn from people that have already done what you want to do. They've already learned the hard way, and they can teach you the shortcuts for how to become a great photographer, and that'll give you the confidence you need to take your photography even further. And that's why I'm here too, guys. I'm here to inspire you, hopefully. That's why I call my website Share, Inspire, Create, because I want to share information, share my knowledge with you. I want to inspire you to go out and create. That's why I call it Share, Inspire, Create. And you probably know that already by now. So learn from a master photographer. That'll give you the confidence and the skill that you need to take your photography to the next level. So that's it, guys. Oh, by the way, check out this link below. The publishers of Chris's book, The Photographer's Rule Book, has given me a special deal just for you guys. It's a 3-book set by Chris, but all of them are written by him, and it's at a discount right now, so check it out. They've been very kind to give me a discount that I can offer to you guys. So check out this book, see if it's right for you. I'm sure it is. I'm loving it. It's really short. You can read it in pretty much 1 or 2 sittings, which is what I like about these small, short ebooks. And I like his 5-step process for how to get confidence in your photography. And then he goes through a whole bunch of other things: aperture, shutter speed, also how to photograph in manual. And he tells you in a really easy way how to go manual, which scares a lot of people. So check it out, see if it's right for you. And that's it, guys. I'd love to hear about your comments. Have you ever been in a situation photographing action sports where something could have gone wrong? Leave the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And that's it, guys. Stay inspired. This is Brent. Have an awesome day.